Well, here we are with the Indian Chief versus the Lowrider S. What's up? My name is Heckshot. Thanks so much for joining me today as we look at these two bikes, man, and I am going to try my hardest to tell you which one I like better and why. We're going to cover some of the features, some of the specs, some of the accessories, and try to really take two very similar bikes and weave our way through some of them and try to figure out which bike is the best. Now, this is obviously just my opinion. I want to hear what yours is. After the video, let me know which bike you like better and why. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, hit your notification bell, and also drop me a like on the video. Destroy the like button. Thank you so much for joining me, man. And big thanks to American Biker for letting me ride both these bikes. Now, disclaimer here. There's 6 different Chiefs that you could get. Okay, so there's a lot of them. So I'm going to use the Chief Dark Horse. I think that's the most comparable version. I rode the Super Chief, actually this bike right here. Obviously, I'm going to show you some stuff from their website and also of me riding. So if you see me riding a Super Chief and you're like, hey, this isn't fair, just know that I'm comparing not the Super Chief, not the Chief Bobber, the Chief Dark Horse, because I think that is the most comparative, the most apples to apples comparison that I can give you. And then, of course, the Lowrider S. Who is this bike for? This bike is for somebody that wants a good commuter, comfortable commuter, bike nights, maybe 100-mile trips with their buddies, but also somebody that can upgrade and do little changes along the way, add their bags, add their solo seats, or add their 2-up seats if they have a passenger, add their bags, things like that, that if you want to do longer touring with these bikes, you can do that. These are mid-frame, 670-pound about bikes that give you a lot of power, but yet a low seat height. A very easy bike to control. If you're a smaller person like me, I'm 5'8", it's really a comfortable bike, but you don't miss out on the power that you get with the touring bike. So you get that power. Lighter frame bikes, they can be these bikes can whip around, dude. Don't get it twisted at all. But they're very easy to kind of handle and control, and they're just comfortable bikes. But you're not gonna get the fairing. You're not gonna get the radio. You're not gonna get the creature comforts, and those little things, the hard bags, things like that. You're just not gonna get that straight from the factory. Okay, now if you go with the Super Chief, like I showed you, the one I rode, this does come with your leather bags. It does come with a windshield. So you do have that option. But again, we're not going to be talking about that one. We're going to talk about this one. Let's cover some of the features and aesthetics here, man. And one of the biggest things with the Chief that you get is the ability to change ride modes. And this is an amazing thing, dude. You have sport, touring, and standard. And this wakes up the throttle, especially in sport mode, almost to the point where it makes you feel like you have a little bit different bike here, dude. It really is an amazing feature that they've added. Harley has not done this yet. I think they did it with the Sportster S, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little while since I've looked at that bike, but I believe they did that, and I'm sure it'll be like a rolling change that they'll do. But as of right now, today's video, they have yet to do that, and that is a huge bonus for the Indian, dude. I absolutely love that you get that sport mode and touring mode and the different ride modes. Just makes a pretty big difference. If we look at the tanks here, you have a 5-gallon tank on the Harley, you have a 4-gallon tank on the Indian, and they are very different looking, as you can see right here. And this is just this is an aesthetic thing, man. You have the big kind of riser right here on the Harley Davidson that has both of your gauges right there, RPM and your speedometer, which is really nice to have that RPM gauge like that. It's not a digital gauge. That's really kind of a cool thing. I love the aesthetics of the gas tank on the Harley Davidson. It just really looks good. Both bikes have this upright kind of position, so you're not too far back and definitely not too far forward. Your feet are right up under you. Both of them have mid controls. Forward controls on the Super Chief with the floorboards. But like I said, on the Dark Horse, on the Chief Dark Horse and the Harley, they're both mid-mounted controls. So that's going to give you a very comfortable position. If you want to stretch your feet out, of course, there's different things that you can add along the way to give you some relief and kind of be able to stretch your legs out in front of you, which I prefer, but straight from the factory, they're going to come mid-mounted there. You can see both bikes have very similar motors. 114 in the Harley Davidson, 116 Thunderstroke in the Indian. Dude, the only difference I feel is in the throttle response on the Indian. They're so close as far as the power. It's really hard for me to tell you which one is quicker. And again, I don't own either one of these bikes, so it's hard for me to tell you, without really getting down on them. I'm not going to do that to their bikes, obviously. I'm not going to, crank on them and, rip around town. I'm going to get on it to an extent, but not like I would if I actually owned these bikes. To me, and what my experience is, they are both very similar bikes. 6-speed transmissions, of course, just amazing power. In a bike that's less than 700 pounds, I think either one of them, if you were to get on either one, you would definitely be happy, especially if you upgrade the pipes. Looking at the pipes, again, both of them have dual exhaust on one side. Neither one of them are set up for a passenger, really. So these are provisions that you're going to have to add along the way. Solo seats, things like that, passenger pegs. You're going to have to do all that if you want to ride with your honey. When we look at the controls on the Indian, one thing you can get here is the ride command. So this is a digital touchscreen with Bluetooth navigation, which is actually pretty cool here. I didn't have that on the Super Chief, which I thought all Super Chiefs came with that, but the one I rode did not. But like I said, turn-by-turn navigation, control your ride modes, let you answer and decline calls on the go. It's really a really cool system, something that can be upgraded on the Indian. The one I have just had a digital gauge with your speedometer and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to gauges and how they look, this one is really clean looking, but I also do like the analog tachometer and speedometer setup of the Harley. It's just a little bit more old school and kind of just clean looking. I don't know. LED lighting. So Harley Davidson gives you this nice headlight LED with halogen turn signals. Yes, front and rear, by the way. Indian gives you LED lighting all the way around. This is a huge bonus for Indian, dude. They've been doing this, and now they give you the headlight that is also LED, dude. And this has to be the last year Harley Davidson ever puts a freaking halogen bulb on anything. I had a halogen headlight bulb on my 19 Street Glide Special. I know they've changed that since then. But Jesus, dude, stop. I don't know if they have old stock, and they're like, man, we just got to get rid of this. Just one more year. Dude, 2022, your resolution, Harley, no more halogen bulbs. Please, for the love of God. Indian wins in that regard. Not only aesthetically is it better, it's also safer, dude. Hopefully, assuming somebody isn't looking at freaking Facebook while they're driving, it's easier to see those LED lights. Indian gives you that all the way around. Both bikes are going to come with keyless ignition, ABS standard. The regular Chief you can get without ABS, but the Chief Dark Horse, ABS is standard. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. ABS saved my bacon on the Super Chief when somebody pulled out in front of me. If you haven't seen that review or the Lowrider S review, they're right here on this channel. Check them out. The Super Chief, the ABS really saved me on that one. Both of them, again, have low seat heights. They both have this chopped fender type of look, almost like a bobber type of look. Very clean, almost like a really comfortable muscle bike type of thing. Because you get the motor, really powerful motor, in a comfortable upright position, inverted forks. The wheels on the Harley, just incredible, dude. Incredible look. You have this open air filter right here. Get a lot of air there. It looks good. The motor and everything, aesthetically, the Harley Davidson just does it for me just a little bit more. With the tank and the lines and all that kind of stuff, it just really looks nice. You have this little paint to match fairing here. It's not really going to do a whole lot. It might move some of the air up and over you, depending on how tall you are. But really, aesthetically, it just kind of looks cool, I guess. And I love these bronze wheels here, man. They do a really nice job when it comes to the aesthetics of this bike. Here's the wheels on the Indian. Again, they look good. I like the ones on the Harley just a little bit better. Inverted front forks on this one as well. Again, here's some of the features. I think we already talked about this. Keyless ignition, USB charging port, cruise control, ABS, LED lighting. We already talked about that. You're going to get, of course, Pirelli tires on the Indian. So, we talked about a lot there, man. The way they ride, too, is very similar. The Indian feels lighter. They do a better job of weight distribution, I feel, somehow, some way. When you bring the Indian up off the kickstand, it feels like a lighter bike than what it is. They do this in their Chieftains, in their touring bikes, and in their, Softail style bike as well. It just feels really light and nimble. The Harley, you feel all 700 pounds getting it off that kickstand. Not to say there's not easier ways to do it, but just comparing the two, you definitely feel more of that weight in the Harley. Now, once you get the wheels rolling, does that matter? No, not at all. They both feel very nimble on the road, easy to control, easy to get a foot down, low seat height, very comfortable, man. So if you're vertically challenged, kind of like myself, I think you're really going to feel comfortable getting in the saddle on either one of these motorcycles. So, 4-gallon tank on the Indian, 5 on the Harley. I don't know if I mentioned that. Again, they're so similar, dude. It's really hard to do this review. But here's what it comes down for me. There's your features, your specs, your comfort, accessories. You can accessorize to your heart's desire, either in the aftermarket or in the OEM parts catalog. Okay. This is what it comes down for me, aesthetics. You have a monoshock, of course, on the Softail, which is like this right here, okay? So it's hidden. It's up under the seat. You can't see it. It looks very clean. Some people like it. Some people hate it. Some, Dyna fanboys and stuff do not like this frame. Maybe they don't like the way it feels. Maybe aesthetically they don't like it. Whatever the case is. Personally, I don't mind it, but I haven't ridden thousands upon thousands of miles with this to really tell you how comfortable that is. But I know aesthetically it looks very good. On the Indian, it looks a little bit more old school, which I'm not opposed to be honest with you. I'm just not a huge fan of it on this bike. It just kind of looks like a Sportster to me. I don't like that. I definitely prefer the Harley when it comes to that. The gas tank, I think Harley makes just all of their lines look absolutely incredible to me. It all fits so well and so smooth. The Indian, it looks good, dude. It really does. It is a mean, awesome looking bike. The way the heads look and stuff, it's a little bit weird. It's got kind of a rounded off look, whereas the Harley's got kind of that squared off top. It just all looks so freaking good. This is how much more I like that Harley. Just that much. Because Indian has done such a nice job with that bike, and it was such a pleasure to ride. Even in the rain, it was a pleasure to ride that bike. It's hard for me to make this decision. They're both blacked out. They're both everything that I really like in a bike like this. They both have it. And if the ride modes don't mean anything to you, to me, the Harley, it's just a better looking bike. Really, that's what it's going to come down to. For you, if you're looking at both these bikes, I would say go to the Harley in an Indian store. Go there and just sit on them. Ask them if you could ride them. Do a test ride. Because it's going to come down to these small little changes, different controls, slightly different controls, different aesthetics. That's the biggest thing with me, the aesthetics. You have little creature comforts here and there, but they're very similar. Stripped down, really awesome motorcycles. I just like the Harley aesthetics just a little bit better. But if I were to have an Indian, would I say, nah, dude, I hate this bike? Probably not, because it's such a good looking and smooth riding motorcycle, and I love those ride modes. I could live without the ride modes because I like the way the Harley looks a little bit better. And let's be honest, aesthetics is a huge part of motorcycle riding. So there you go. There's my opinion on it, man. I'd love to hear what yours is down in the comments below. Again, if you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.